Hello, this is a tutorial on creating a course learning plan. The sample course learning plan that you are viewing today contains instructions, examples, and helpful hints in yellow highlight to assist you in the development of a useful course learning plan. This sample course learning plan is available to download and print for reference on the Instructional Design Research Guide, iDesign. You may also download a blank copy of a learning plan for individual use. The Instructional Design Research Guide can be found at http://guides.baker.edu/iDesign. The course learning plan lays out the course in weekly sequences and identifies the student learning outcomes, enabling objectives, big ideas, and essential questions addressed each week. It provides detailed information on assessments, learning experiences, including readings and media, assignment points, due dates, and the alignment of assessments and learning experiences to the SLOs, EOs, big ideas, and essential questions. It provides detailed instructions, teaching tips, and instructional strategies for faculty members. Much of the information in the learning plan is transferred directly to the Blackboard Master course for students, such as assignment instructions and reading assignments. The learning plan is included in the Blackboard Master course in the Instructor Resources folder for on-ground courses only. Begin to fill out in your learning plan by adding the current date in the upper right-hand corner, as well as the course ID and course title. For example, Management 101, Introduction to Management. Then, beginning on the second page, add the student learning outcomes, enabling objectives, big ideas, and essential questions for the course. If you do not have enabling objectives, big ideas, or essential questions, just list the student learning outcomes. Next, on page 3 of the learning plan, summarize the required assessments for the course. In bulleted form, list all of the required assessments, including the point value and the week it is due for each assessment. Then, fill in the missing information in the statement regarding the total points for the course by adding the total number of points for the required assessments. Then fill in the total number of discretionary points. Keep in mind that all 4-credit courses are worth a total of 1,000 points. To calculate the total number of instructor discretionary points, subtract the points of the required assessments from the overall course point total. The learning plan begins on page 4 with faculty-directed information, including instructional strategies that can be used throughout the course. If the course instructional strategies differ from those currently listed, update them as needed. In our sample course learning plan, there are 5 instructional strategies: lecture discussion, big ideas and essential questions discussion, weekly reflective learning discussion, reflective writing, among many others. On page 5, you will begin the weekly sequence of detailed course information on assessments, learning experiences, assignment points, due dates, and the alignment to the course SLOs, EOs, big ideas, and essential questions. The left column of the learning plan contains the student learning outcomes, enabling objectives, big ideas, and essential questions that will be covered that week. Again, if your course does not have all these items, just include the student learning outcomes in the left column. The right column is divided into 2 sections. The first is for assessments, and the second is for learning experiences. In the week 1 assessment section, add the assessments that are assigned and/or are due that week. Be sure to place the assessments and learning experiences in the proper week. For each assessment that you add to the learning plan, the following information should be included: the assessment title, whether the assessment is required or optional, the due date, for example, the week the assignment is due, the total points for the assessment, assignment directions and/or the details necessary to complete the assignment, instructor notes, if needed, and the SLO and EOs that the assignment is aligned to. You may also indicate whether or not a grading rubric will be provided. Now let's look at the Week 1 Learning Experiences section. Add the learning experiences that will be incorporated into the class during that current week. Examples include reading assignments, discussion questions, other ungraded assignments, readings, videos, web links, in-class learning activities, among many others. Also add any other information or teaching tips that may be useful to instructors for teaching the content that will be covered for that week. For example, on the sample learning plan, the learning experiences for Week 1 include reading assignments, discussion ideas, and an essential question discussion. The Week 1 assessments and learning experiences are now complete. Now that you've completed the assignments and learning experiences for Week 1, you can move on to complete the assessments and learning experiences for Week 2. Begin by adding the student learning outcomes, enabling objectives, big ideas, and essential questions into the left column for Week 2. Then add the Week 2 assessments and learning experiences in the right-hand column. Under the assessment section, be sure to include assignments that were assigned the previous week that are now due the current week. For example, on our sample learning plan, the Sales Project Part 1 assignment that was assigned in Week 1 is now due in Week 2. Therefore, it has been noted at the top of Week 2 assessments that Part 1 of the Sales Project is due. Then continue to add new assessments and the learning experiences for Week 2. Keep in mind that each week should include the SLOs, EOs, big ideas, and essential questions, complete assignment information, learning experiences, instructor notes, readings, media, etc. Essentially everything needed for that week of the course should be listed on the learning plan. It is encouraged to also include optional assessments and learning experiences on the learning plan, which can be identified by adding optional next to that assignment. For example, on the sample learning plan in Week 3, the suggested guest speaker learning experience is optional. Faculty members may choose to use some of their instructor discretion points on optional assignments. Continue to fill in the assessments and learning experiences for each week for the remainder of the course, weeks 3 through 10. Once you have completed the learning plan through Week 10, review that the course student learning outcomes and enabling objectives are being assessed at least once throughout the course. If you find that an SLO or EO is not being assessed, you may need to modify an already existing assignment to fill this gap, or you may need to add an additional assignment. Keep in mind that the total points allotted for a 4-credit course is 1,000 points, including instructor discretionary points. Please note that some divisions are required to include a text and assignment guide or tag document at the end of the course learning plan. For example, on the sample course learning plan is a completed tag document for the Criminal Justice 101 course. The tag document provides a snapshot look at the entire course, including textbooks, weekly SLO, EO alignment, weekly reading and learning experiences, and weekly assessment and homework. Contact your system director to verify whether or not a tag document is required for your course. Once again, for future reference, the sample learning plan can be accessed on the Instructional Design Research Guide, iDesign. You may also download a blank copy of the learning plan for your use.